go burn some daylight.
Welcome back, Daylight Burners. It's been a hot minute, but the holidays are done. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everybody out there. Happy Hanukkah. I know a few Jewish people. I don't know that anybody really that celebrates Hanukkah. I don't think so. Maybe I do. Kwanzaa. Do you know that was a completely fabricated holiday?
Yes.
Like when I was in school growing up, like they pushed it pretty hard, and then I found out here a couple of years ago, like it is indeed a completely fabricated holiday, which is kind of funny. But yeah. Anyways, happy. Hope everybody's holiday season was good. Football got really good all of a sudden. Like it was kind of college football was pretty good all season, I thought. NFL was kind of a snooze fest for most of but then it got really, like, you look up all of a sudden and the Broncos are on like an 11-game winning streak. And you're like, holy shit. Yeah. They rattled off 11 in a row in the NFL. That's impressive. And I got to say, and I'm going to knock on wood here, before, to unjinx this, but this has a lot of reminisces a lot of the last Super Bowl run. Like the offense wasn't as bad as it was that year. Like, as if you remember, Peyton Manning was hurt. Essentially duct taped together, and and freaking Gary Kubiak was not about to run shotgun because he's old school, and we don't do that shit here. We're gonna run zone read. The quarterback's got to be able to be under center and then stretch way the fuck down the line to hand off that ball. And Peyton Manning was Peyton Manning was basically in a rascal scooter that year.
They had Brock Osweiler, who is like 6'7" and had the length to literally just hand it off on every zone read. And then he could kind of throw,
a little bit.
The worst quarterback. He led the Texans to the playoffs the next year. So,
it's true. I don't think we would have won the Super Bowl with him that year, though.
I don't think without him we would have won. But we got to give Brock Osweiler his flowers. He did help us get there.
He was good for us, and good on him. He got paid, and somebody else had to deal with him completely falling apart, and it wasn't us, and that was fine. We had a whole series of quarterbacks of our own that did that shit. So
4 years of Brock Osweiler, or 1 year of Drew Lock, 1 year of Trevor Siemian, 1 year of Paxton Lynch, 1 year of
we had multiple years of Siemian, though, didn't we?
We had 2 years. We had 2 years of Siemian.
Okay.
But then 1 year of Flacco, 1 year, 2 years of Russell Wilson, and then finally got Bo Nix.
Bo Nix. He didn't throw over many mountains this year. It was kind of he wasn't bad this year, but like the offense was kind of ugly, like just kind of ugly all year.
But it was really beautiful when it was clutch, but it was very game management focused.
Well, and which is weird is like the ultimate game management is running the fucking ball, and they seem to never do that, even when they were having success. Like it just, I don't know. I think it's a conspiracy between the NFL and like cardiology industry. Like they want the heart attacks high, so they want to keep blood pressure high, and so even though coaches know that they could just simply run out the clock by running the ball at this, and they just don't. They try to get cute all of a sudden. Have you ever notice how like a run heavy offense all of a sudden gets cute when they clearly should be running the ball, which they're already good at, which they do on a consistent basis, and then they're like, oh, we're gonna do a flea flicker.
The Ravens. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's on my throat.
And you're just like, why did you do that? Or like the Seahawks in the Super Bowl when you have beast mode and you're first and goal on the 1,
and you're going to throw.
You don't just run him 4 times in a row. Like, he's bound to get in one of those. Like, probably the first try. and you throw it instead, and you're like, sometimes obvious really works. Like, it got you there. So just roll with it. I don't understand it. But and that's how the Broncos offense felt a lot of times this year. Like, I don't know. J.K. Dobbins
they were expecting production while not allowing the pieces of production to do their jobs.
Yeah, it was weird. Like, J.K. Dobbins would get in a rhythm, and then they just stop handing him the ball. You're like, he was getting like 7-8 yards a pop, and you just like shut it down. Like, huh.
And I mean, it does really make for exciting football when you don't know if the Broncos, who are down 19-0 entering the 4th, are going to even score a point against Jackson Dart and the Giants, and then they win 33-32.
Yeah, that was wild.
Like, the Broncos were the most exciting thing this season, and it wasn't because they were playing good football. It's because they were really good at playing bad football. And sometimes that'll win you games. And they played some really good football, like against the Giants in the 4th quarter. But for 45 minutes, they played the kind of football I would associate with an elementary school team.
Right. The defense was elite all year. That defense was humming. Vance Joseph is a terrible head coach, but he's a pretty damn good defensive coordinator. And we got some guys. Nick Bonito is an animal. Zach Allen is a fucking animal. Patrick Surtain just plays on God mode all the time. It's that defense is stupid. Number 1 seed in the AFC, home field throughout the playoffs, first round bye. I like where the Broncos are sitting.
Do you think that field advantage? Do you think that first seed is warranted? Do you think we deserve it?
It doesn't feel like it, but the numbers are what they are. New England looks like a wagon, though. New England looks really good. There's weeks when Buffalo looks like they can beat the world, and then other weeks not so much at all. Josh Allen is an absolute beast. I'm not sure that he ever wins a Super Bowl, and that makes me sad.
I wonder if Josh Allen, I don't think he's going to leave Buffalo. I don't see him leaving Buffalo.
I hope he don't, honestly. There's not enough. There's not enough like one team players throughout all of sports nowadays. You know, like there's, and I understand it, but it just makes it nice when you see somebody that's there their whole career. Like, you're like, I appreciate that. So I mean, he could be mayor of Buffalo tomorrow. that's without a question. So I
way that he loses that if Ryan Fitzpatrick is running against him.
Yeah, exactly. I still think he wins that, but that'd be a closer race than most people would think. I'm a huge Ryan Fitzpatrick fan. That guy was fun to watch. Even when he was terrible, he was fun to watch because he was slinging it. He was always fucking slinging it. So let me pop up scoreboard from last week because I caught most of it of the NFL. No, I guess Sunday we were at a wrestling tournament, so I missed most of the NFL week this week. But Panthers Bucks at the beginning of the year, you would have said the Buccaneers are going to blow the brakes off the Panthers. Panthers were stealthily a pretty good team. They ended at 8-9, but
Panthers that's undefeated.
Yeah.
And they made
they did make the playoffs, huh?
Yeah. So the Bucks beat the Panthers and needed the Falcons to lose, and the Falcons beat the Saints. And so the
That's
Panthers
so funny.
made it into the playoffs, and the Bucks did not. But what's wild is that there is one division in the NFL where year in and year out, you can expect that there's a really good chance that there is a team with a losing record that's going to the playoffs. And that is always the NFC South.
Yep.
There's no other comparison. The AFC South is also hot garbage for the most part, but this year it was really solid.
There's usually one wagon in the AFC South, like, and maybe not like league wide wagon, but like enough of a wagon to carry the South.
Yeah. But the
like
NFC
enough,
South
like
is
usually for like 10 wins.
Yeah. You can expect
NFC South is always just there's some stank on that division. It just not a good stank.
A 17th game, I'm not going to be playing in that, actually. So sorry, but we will not be joining you.
Yeah, well, and it's the Southeast too, so it's Carolina, Panhandle, Florida, New Orleans. Who's the other NFC South?
Atlanta.
Atlanta. Yeah, so it's just hot and muggy. Just like that whole, you just say NFC South and you just smell stale sweat.
Just you hear
hot
SEC,
sweat.
You smell good food on the grill. You can taste. You can almost taste the beer or whatever Sazerac you're drinking. You hear NFC South. It's like the SEC is all the good parts of the South. The NFC South is all the worst parts of the South.
It's funny is like where some of the most fertile ground for NFL talent is the southeastern US.
And you would think they suck so much they're always drafting high. You'd think that they'd be decent.
That they just can't figure out professional football in the southeastern US. I don't know what it is. I don't know. It's wild, but yeah, that there was a battle of 8-8 teams or I guess 7-8 team and a 7-8 team that it needed some help from another shitty team to squeak their way into the playoffs. And I won't be that surprised if they win a game. I'll get to the matchups here in a little bit, but I don't know. The NFC's kind of dog shit. The Seahawks are a wagon. It seems like.
Seahawks, Rams, and 49ers, I think, are the best NFC teams right now.
I don't want to meet the Seahawks in the Super Bowl because that didn't go well for us last time.
But last time we didn't have the defense; we only had the offense. And it seems like whoever has the better defense is going to win the Super Bowl.
As of this morning, I looked at the odds for the Super Bowl winner, and I think the Seahawks were like the odds-on favorite. They were like plus 160 or something like that, which is not even 2-1. So that's pretty high. Let me see what it's at now. Okay, so Seahawks are plus 375. They're the favorites. The Rams at plus 430. The Broncos at plus 650. Bills at plus 1,000. The Carolina Panthers plus 20,000 to win the Super Bowl. But they got a better chance than the Tampa Bay Bucks because they knocked them out of the playoffs. Saints Falcons. Both of those teams were gross this year. That's it. NFC South is just bleh.
Well, gross. For the NFC South standard, you had 3 teams finish with 8 wins. That's That's like when the AFC West put 3 teams in the playoffs.
Mm.
AFC South, it's like the same six. Like that's what their measurement of success is. So
Yeah. I mean, if the Colorado Rockies were a football team, they'd belong in the NFC South.
yeah,
The Browns and the Bengals, who cares? But Miles Garrett broke the sack record, though. That dude's an animal.
I just wonder how many rings he'd have if he played on any other team.
I wonder, but I mean, we thought Vaughn wasn't ever going to win one either, but and so he won too because he won one with the Rams too, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping he'd win one with Buffalo, and because Von Miller's he's I fucking love that guy. Yeah, so congrats to Miles Garrett. It's kind of a weird one because now they added a game on, but the record's a record and he broke it. So there you go. Packers Vikings. Did the Packers sit everybody?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, Malik Willis might have just earned himself a contract with that game.
Malik Willis looked okay when he played this year.
Not honestly. A bad quarterback. It just really goes to show how dysfunctional Tennessee is.
Yeah.
Like they had a really good thing going with who it wasn't
they had Tannehill.
Well, it was Tannehill coach at the end of the 2010s, early 2020s. Right? They still had AJ Brown and Derrick Henry.
Vrabel.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Mike Vrabel had a really solid thing going. He had 2 playoff appearances and then 1 rough year when it was developing a young quarterback. And then they're like, nope, sorry. And I kind of pissed me off, but I'm excited to see like where Malik Willis either he's going to stay in Green Bay. I don't think he's a starter, but I think he's a very serviceable backup. And especially
he's right in the line of like Tyrod Taylor or Jacoby Brissett, kind of in that same type of mold where they can come in off the bench and be pretty damn good for a little bit. They never seem to be able to pull it together for an entire season, or they never have a chance to, it seems like, but they're always good off the bench. And it seemed like kind of what he was like. He's kind of coming into his own as like another dysfunction deal. Look at Sam Darnold. He was like kind of a laughing stock being the number 1 overall with the Jets. Turns out kid's pretty good. Like he's slinging it up there in Seattle. Had a hell of a year.
Last year was a fluke.
Yeah. No, and and he had a rough exit last year in the playoffs, and he had a bad game. Don't get me wrong, he didn't play good, but he got harassed all fucking game. And so was it a bad game because he sucked? I don't think so. No, I was like that
offensive line. And we saw that every time his offensive line played like shit. It's kind of like
and Detroit's defense was humming last year, so like it was kind of just a perfect storm for him, and he had a really bad game, but so did everybody else on his side of the ball. So it was a combined shit the bed on that one. I don't think it was because he doesn't have what it takes. I think they ran into a buzzsaw and on the wrong end of it. Cowboys are a hot mess, and I'm here for it. I love that. The Giants, I don't know. I always kind of want to root for the Giants. They always have some guys that I really like, but like that, they're as a franchise, they're a mess. But they're easily the best of the New York franchises success wise. They're And that includes the Bills. The Bills have the best fan base and the most recent success, but Giants got a lot of Super Bowl rings, and the Jets have one, and the Bills have none. So, um, I don't know. And then they had the exciting whites roll in there for a hot minute, and then of course Cam Scatabo got hurt because he's trying to get hurt all the time.
Yeah. The boy
But
was
I
built
think,
for a brick wall.
yeah, I think they got something cooking for as long as that those two can stay somewhat healthy. They got especially with Malik Neighbors up there as well. Like the Giants could be something going forward, but they're still that's a hot mess of a franchise though. The Jags,
I'm kind of excited. Trevor Lawrence finally looks like he knows what he's doing, and
right. Are we gonna have to eat some words on Trevor Lawrence finally? Like,
I've kind of always been high on him, except for this year where I was talking, some pretty big smack on the guy. Like, hey, he's finally had some like up until this point, like he hadn't really, like last year was like his first full season that was like a consistent coaching year, and then they did not do well, and then Cohen, whatever, Andy something Cohen came in and really, I mean, it's the same thing with Ben Johnson in Chicago.
Yeah.
Took a team that was struggling with a really talented quarterback and figured out how to make it all work. And
he was like one of those lemon pickups, just like it looks like it's the truth, and then it just doesn't ever fucking run, and you're like, why doesn't this magnificent beast fucking run? And that's what it felt like with Trevor Lawrence there.
Yeah.
He's like he's literally sunshine from Remember the Titans, and he's just kind of, and not even that he was terrible, he was just like meh.
Yeah, he had a game like where they came back against the Chargers, and then the next week, but in that first half he threw 5 interceptions.
Right. Yeah, he was just kind of meh. Like it's like the verse about the lukewarm water spit you out of my mouth. That's how I feel about Trevor Lawrence's career up to this point. And I had a good year. The Jags were quietly a really good team. Broke the Broncos winning streak, and was right there for the number 1 overall seed. Did they end up getting a bye? I don't think they did they?
I don't think they did.
I don't think so, but we'll look at that here in a minute. But yeah, pretty good team. The Titans are awful. The Colts had everything going for them until they didn't. And I forgot how much I fucking hate Phillip Rivers. Seeing him come back and immediately start whining to the refs, I was just like, oh, this was a cool story until I remembered that fuck that guy. Just fuck that guy. It's so hard.
I hate Phillip Rivers, but I don't hate him the same way that I hate Tom Brady. I hate Phillip Rivers the way that I would, I guess I would say that I would hate like Ben Roethlisberger. Or even Alex Smith.
So like, no, I
hate.
I would.
I wish harm, benign but harm. I wish that Tom Brady wakes up one morning, and he shat the bed. I would like Tom Brady to wake up one morning, and he takes a step out of bed and he eats shit. Like,
fair enough.
I want that kind of harm to befall Tom Brady. I don't wish harm upon Phillip Rivers. I do hope he wins every game, and I hope he never wins again. And I hope this is like why he doesn't get into the Hall of Fame, because fuck him, but I don't hate him the way that I hate Tom Brady.
I kind of wish harm on Phillip Rivers, and I'm kind of ashamed about it because he seems to be off the football field a legitimately decent human being. But I hate him on the football field, and
he's a rabbit.
He was in our he is a rabbit, and he was in our division, so we saw him twice a year for a lot of years, and he was the whiniest bitch. And then he was always like, "Oh, I'm taking the high road because I don't cuss. God darn it, gall darn it."
Yeah,
no, you're a bitch. You are a fucking bitch. Can't stand him. Anyways, the Colts looked like a wagon until they didn't, and injuries got to him. But Danny Dimes was having a nice little resurgence there.
That's
in
a player who I like, Trevor Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
He has legitimate talent, or like Sam Darnold, maybe more than Trevor Lawrence. I think Trevor Lawrence is a better quarterback than both of them, but kind of more like Sam Darnold. Daniel,
yeah, maybe.
He
wasn't as highly touted coming out of college though, because he was like Duke, wasn't he?
Yeah, he went to Duke.
Yeah, so he wasn't well known, I guess. Maybe he was highly touted by the draft experts, but like he wasn't well known. He wasn't a household name because he went to Duke, and most people don't know that Duke has a football team. The Bills, they finished 12-5.
We got to put some Duke real fast. Their football team won the ACC this year.
That's true.
7-5 record. The ACC is the NFC South of football, of college football.
Maybe
we'll never stop.
The Bills, man, they started out the year hot. Man, when they lose, it's kind of rough. Like you're just like, what the fuck happened there? But Mahomes is out of the playoffs, so Josh Allen don't got to worry about that. Best
chance.
This is if he's gonna go on a run, this is the year. I don't think, unless they really do some revamping on that team, because I think they've got a lot of expiring contracts and stuff. And James Cook, as good as he was this year, he's an aging running back. So there's probably not a lot of. There might be some tread left on those tires still, but probably not a ton. I think they got as good a chance as anybody in the AFC to make it to the Super Bowl. I think they got as good a chance as anybody to win it, honestly. I don't know that they will. I don't know that they can, but I think on paper, they have the ability. I might put $5 on them. I think they're at 1,000 or plus 1,000, so that'd be $5 would pay out at 50. It's essentially 10-1. I might throw $5 on the Bills to win the Super Bowl, but I don't know. I don't think I buy them. And especially the Broncos being number 1 seed, I can't be really behind the Bills. Like I want them to do well until they come to Mile High Stadium and get their ass beat. But
I'd rather them not make it that far.
Right.
I don't know if I could stomach it. You know, I'd be watching them, and I'm watching them, and I'd just be like, I love you guys so much, but if you die tonight, I won't feel bad, but I'll feel bad in the morning, and I don't want to have to feel guilty about you guys losing. So why don't you guys before, and then next year we can swap. We win the Super Bowl this year, and then Josh Allen can go win it.
That'd be an awesome AFC championship. Bills at the Broncos and have like a 34-31 finish. Like, yeah, where, Bo Nix leads a touchdown drive with 12 seconds left to go, or whatever the fuck it was that Josh Allen had to has already had to experience once in his career.
I don't know. Mitch Trubisky had a perfect game according to Football Reference. Their metrics. Mitch Trubisky, if you want to slide over to their stats, I do want to talk about how well Mitch Trubisky played in this game against the Jets that was completely meaningless. I saw something, though.
22 of 29 for 259 and 4 tuds. Damn. That's what he was a former top 10 pick.
Yes. Steelers, I would think. I think he went to the Steelers
no,
first.
It was the Bears. Bears, and then I'm not sure where he went to after that, but he was drafted by the Bears.
Bears, and then the Steelers, because that's where I'm pretty sure he said the N-word, and that's why Myles Garrett took a swing at him with his own
no, that's Mason Rudolph.
That's what it was Mason Rudolph who
Myles Garrett almost impaled him with a blunt object.
With his own helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody on one of the old Steelers players had said something on the podcast. I honestly think Mason had it coming, saying what he said. And I'm like, oh. When your own team is like, yeah, I can let you get beat this shit out of you with a football helmet, you probably said something real bad.
Could be. I don't know. I've heard it's kind of like the whole Trevor Bauer situation. I've heard multiple sides of that story, and I don't know who to believe. And I don't. There's something about the guy's face I don't care for. Kind of the same way with Myles Garrett. I don't like. Dude's an absolute animal, but he's not a very lovable character. I've never really cared for him as a person, but talent wise, no doubt he's an all-timer. But I've never really cared for him as a person, so I don't know. I don't know how that situation went down. I do know that he went all sorts of ape shit though, and it was that had to have been terrifying for Mason Rudolph, because that's a large, very fast, athletic man, very strong.
The weapon.
Yeah.
Hit Mason Rudolph's helmet as the weapon. Big fan of that.
Yeah, that was wild. So the Bears really came out of nowhere this year.
Ben Johnson. I mean, Look at the Lions and look at the Bears. Oh my. Ben Johnson absolutely turned this Bears team around. Caleb Williams had the talent. USC is one of those teams where, you can play and you can look really, really good. And then, you score your touchdown and the defense lets in 16. And then you got to go put up another touchdown to try and catch back up. People started thinking that Caleb Williams was a little overrated. No, Caleb Williams has the talent. Now he's got the coach who's supporting, that and knows how to play with a guy like Caleb Williams. I think Jared Goff is a comp in terms of football IQ. And we saw how well Jared Goff has been doing as a Lion. So
yeah,
I hate to see the Bears win. I hate the Bears. I think the Bears deserve nothing but the worst. I hope their stadium falls into whatever fucking Great Lake Chicago's on. But they deserve their flowers this season.
So speaking of that stadium, because they're supposedly getting a new stadium, and there's a chance that it might get built in Indiana, which I think would be hilarious.
Yeah,
the Bloomington Bears. But I think the best one would be the Gary Berries.
Yeah, put them in Gary.
Yeah, and the Gary Berries. I'm hoping for it so much. I don't know anything about that story. There's somebody in one of my group chats sent it to make fun of my buddy Rob, and so then we went back and forth on the best places in Indiana to put the Chicago Bears, and speaking of which, they'll have the same type of struggle with renaming the team like that the A's are having. They got rejected by the patent office for the Las Vegas A's and the Vegas A's.
They were like, yeah, the athletics is too generic for all these other athletic sports brands or whatever. That's fucking bullshit. I hate that. Like the Athletics have been a team. They're one of the oldest teams in baseball. They're one of the most storied franchises in baseball. Going back, they were. Where did they start? They went from
in Philadelphia. They went from Philly to Kansas City, Kansas City to Oakland to Sacramento, and then it'll be Vegas eventually.
Like why? Like the issue is not athletics. The issue is Las Vegas.
Yeah, so they've got to have known usage of it before they can. So they might have to be like the Athletics of Las Vegas or something like remember they had to be the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim or the whatever.
Yeah, the Los
however
Angeles
they
Anaheim.
Yeah. So I read the article about it and it was from it was pretty well researched, and the MLB handles all the patenting requests anyways. So they have all the best lawyers behind it. So it's more than likely they'll just keep that whole process open and active until they finally move into the stadium in Vegas, and then they'll be like, see, we're here, we're the Las Vegas Athletics, and then the patent office will be like, okay, yes, you indeed are. Here you go.
So that's the issue. The issue isn't the A's.
Yeah.
Just like that they're not the Las Vegas A's yet. They're still technically the Sacramento A's.
Yeah. Which they actually they're gonna have an alternate jersey that says Sacramento this year.
Okay. They should have one called Sacktown.
They definitely should. It's like they should be like the Sackletics for their city, like the City Connect jersey be the Sackletics. And but yeah, so all that, I don't know how that we got back to here, but Broncos beat the shit out of the Chargers, and Trey Lance was the starter for the Chargers. I didn't know he was still in the league, but he did not look particularly good at all. He had 9 carries for 69 yards.
Oh, Bo, buddy.
14 of 23 for 141.
Game management from Bo Nix.
Yeah. They're like, hey, we just need a win. We just need a win. Get that number 1 seed. The Chiefs, for the first time in 10 years, are out of the playoffs. I love to see it. The Raiders are still hot garbage. Love to see that.
People were saying that it's Tom Brady's fault. People are saying that the ownership combined with Tom Brady, as well as having, a geriatric Pete at head coach, kind of fucked them. You have Ashton Jesse, Mason Crosby, and fucking Brock Bowers on your team, and you won 3 games.
3 games. Yeah.
What? Like, I would have, like, they should have at least come like 6-11. I would expect.
Right. That would have been a
bad season for as good of a team talent wise on paper.
Yeah.
But holy fuck, 3-14.
I mean, the Raiders and the Browns, they're just they're very close cousins as far as franchises go. They're equally dysfunctional.
The Browns are somehow better over the last decade, but worse over the last 5 years. After that Deshaun Watson contract, the Browns spiraled. I mean, they made it to the playoffs. They won a game with Baker Mayfield in year 2 or 3, and then got rid of Baker, signed a pervert who sucks. Not only did they sign a pervert, they signed a pervert who hadn't played ball in 2 years, and every time he touches the field, he gets injured after he sucks.
Well, and they knew about the whole pervert thing when they traded for him, and then because then they trade and then re-sign him or then extend him, or restructure or something.
they traded for him and then restructured the contract they picked up from the Texans to make it literally the worst contract. The only way that contract would have been good is if Deshaun Watson was somehow completely innocent, found innocent, and played like he was still playing at Clemson or in Houston. But no, he was sat out from football. I genuinely think right now, if you had them in a head-to-head competition, Colin Kaepernick would outplay Deshaun Watson, and Colin Kaepernick's been out of football for 5 years. He keeps trying to get in, but Colin Kaepernick might be a better quarterback at the moment than Deshaun Watson. And Colin Kaepernick hasn't been touching on a bunch of massage therapists lately, as far as we know.
That we know of.
That we know of. Colin, our eyes are on you.
Yeah. The Rams are a team I would not want to meet in the playoffs. That's a
quarterback.
Stafford's a quarterback. Puka Nacua is a machine.
Because why is Stafford playing in a game that's completely meaningless against the Cardinals?
Well, because it was either 5 or 6 seed.
That's right. They were playing for seeding.
Yeah. Because, and I think now there wasn't a chance that they won the division because
the Seahawks I think only had 4 losses.
Yeah, I think so. I think the Seahawks had the tiebreaker over them.
Yeah, the Seahawks had the same record as the Broncos.
Yeah, 14-3, and the Niners and the Rams both ended up at 12-5. So, yeah, it was strictly just for seeding. I don't think they had a shot at the division. I think last week was Rams Seahawks, wasn't it?
Yes, and the Seahawks won.
So that was essentially for the division last week. So the Patriots, they're a wagon. Vrabel's got the boys humming. Drake May looks really good. The running back tandem there in New England is excellent. I hate to say it, but the Patriots are going to be around for a bit. It seems like they look like they're built like the Patriots of old.
I hate Drake May. Why? I think that the worst part is that these Patriots are likable. This is a likable team in New England, because you could get as good as like Tom Brady and Bill Belichick were. Bill Belichick he's a character. Is he a likable guy?
Oh, no, he's abrasive.
Tom Brady? No. Like he's likable if like you have no taste and maybe are also morally bankrupt and make out with your children. But if you're from class, like someone who's
he's not making out. He was draining them of their lifeblood so he can stay young and beautiful.
Okay, thank you. I apologize. Thank you for the
but no, you're right. This is a likable New England team, and it's kind of like the Dodgers. Like I hate the Dodgers, but I really enjoyed that team. Like I love Freddie Freeman. I love Kike Hernandez. Fucking Yamamoto is a dog. Like we saw that in the playoffs, and you're like, all right, I wasn't really sure what my thoughts on Yamamoto were until the playoffs, and I was like, all right, that dude's a fucking winner. And Shohei, I'm just glad to be alive when that dude's playing ball because he's insanely good. Like I don't have like even Snell is in on the joke about his eyes looking like he's stoned all the time. Like he is, but he's also in on the joke, and I like it. So, they're a likable team, but still fuck them because they're Dodgers.
I think more so. I think it would be with the Astros. I think if the Astros became a likable
fuck the Astros
cup, but exactly right. The Pats were the Astros of football. The Dodgers we hate them because we ate them.
Kinda, yeah.
Not so much because the Dodgers are a good team, but they're likable. The Astros were a good team, but they weren't very likable, and they cheated.
And then they cheated. Yeah.
Just like the Patriots. And so I think that's why it's so hard. It's like I have to like be an adult and be mature about looking at this Patriots team and not just writing them off because they're the Pats. And like also like they're a fun team to watch. They play good football. They don't, they're not just working on checkdowns. They're not they don't have like an aura of evil around them. The way like they're not like Sith Lords.
No, they're like because the like the Belichick Patriots was just like a machine. It was like so I don't follow soccer at all, but I remember when it was Germany Argentina in the World Cup final back in was like 2016 or something like that.
It was in
I don't remember.
14.
Yeah, so it was the one that was in Brazil, and it was Argentina, and so my boss at the time was from Argentina, and he was explaining like the Germans are just like the Germans always are, like very robotic, and it's like a mechanized soccer team as opposed to humans, and that's kind of how the Patriots were back during that dynasty. They were just like a machine. Just they took care of business. But Vrabel seems like he's got them on that, but there's like a fresh face to it. They're not. they don't seem like you said, like Sith Lords. That's a good way to put it.
And I like that.
The Eagles. Eagles could be dangerous in the playoffs. But I don't know. They don't have the aura they had last year.
No, they're gonna make it to the divisional and they're gonna lose. But they're gonna
I think so too.
Excuse me. I think the NFC is a little deeper than it was last year. And I think the Eagles are a little less deep than they were last year.
Yeah, maybe so.
Team, but they're not the same team that they were last year.
No, they're a little flat compared to last year, and I think it's just I think it's years of kind of the same way the Chiefs had, were just years of repeated deep runs into the playoffs. Like the Bills haven't really suffered from that. Like they still put up really solid record this year, 12-5. And I expect them to probably make a deep run. If not, I mean, like I said, they could definitely win the AFC, especially if somehow the Broncos lose at home and the Bills don't have to come through Mile High.
They don't have to face the Broncos defense. The Bills, I think, should be the AFC favorite.
I think home field plays a huge advantage, and Mile High is going to be humming. That Broncos defense is fucking nasty, and I don't know. I'm hoping for a Bills Broncos AFC championship and for it to be a good game and the Broncos squeak it out in the end. But I don't know. This Ravens Steelers game was hilarious because I bet the Steelers to win. I bet the Steelers to cover. It was 3.5 point spread. Ravens favored by 3.5. And it was back and forth. Really, really a good game. Steelers go ahead. They score a touchdown to go ahead. Ravens come back. They score. Go ahead by 4. Steelers come down, score again, miss the extra point. They only go up by 2. And there's like a minute left, I think. Ravens drive down, kick a field goal and miss, and it was for the final playoff spot. It was for the division, and and it was decided by a missed extra point and a missed like 27-yard field goal or some shit like that.
Yeah. I think that was pretty indicative of the Ravens season this year.
I think so. And yeah, you mentioned earlier today that Harbaugh was fired, huh? That's a bit of a shocker, honestly.
I mentioned earlier with Trevor Lawrence the coaching consistency. The Ravens have not won a Super Bowl because they've been a little unlucky in the playoffs. This year was a down year. There were a lot of injuries. Lamar Jackson did not get to play a full season. Derrick Henry was not as productive as he was last year. But they finished 8-9. I don't think that's the record that you fire your Super Bowl winning head coach that's coached the Ravens to be one of the best teams in the AFC over the past 5-6 years with Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I get being angry, thinking that you're wasting away the prime of Lamar Jackson, which you are. Who are you going to replace John Harbaugh with? Like, who's better than John Harbaugh that's out there?
Yeah, it's you just put like the best coach in the coaching. I don't know. I saw an article about all these teams in college football who are firing their coach, and then that coach is like the best coach, like the most sought after coach. And I genuinely think right now of the coaches who were fired, you had Kevin Stefanski fired too from Cleveland.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And what in Arizona, the guy who replaced Kingsbury, I think he's gone too. Of those 3 coaches, you've got one who had success, and then under a quarterback who has now won Super Bowl with another team, and is functionally one of the best non-top 5 like he might be a top 6 quarterback, top 10 quarterback for sure in Baker Mayfield, but he's no longer on the team. You've got a guy with in a quarterback in Kyler Murray who's phenomenal to keep him away from his Xbox. But then you have John Harbaugh, who has proven time and time again that he can take good teams and make them great. He did that with Joe Flacco. He did that in the late aughts after taking over after the Ray Lewis era. I mean, you've seen like the dominance. If you talk about like the top 3 best teams in the AFC over the past 10 years, it's the Chiefs, the Ravens, and the Bills.
Yep.
And the Ravens have had as sustained success almost as long as the Chiefs. They just haven't had the Super Bowls. And it's really hard because you're competing. It's not like the NFC or the AFC was 15 years ago where you had to beat the Pats. And if you beat the Pats, you were in.
Yeah.
No. Right now you have to get through a gauntlet. The AFC has been a gauntlet. You have the Chiefs, you have the Bills, you have the Ravens, you have, for all intents and purposes, the Steelers, which is just functionally one of those industrial meat grinders or like scrap metal grinders. It's that if that was a team. It's
right.
I beat it, but it's gonna hurt.
But the Ravens, like Harbaugh turned the Ravens into a flashier version of that.
Yeah,
because he essentially turned a team in a southern city, because Maryland's on the Mason-Dixon line.
Yeah.
And they've turned it into like a northeastern steel town type feel. Like, what do you think the Ravens? You put them on the same wavelength as Cincinnati and Pittsburgh and Cleveland, like those hard-nosed industrial cities.
West
but they're a coastal southern city.
They were the best at it. I think they still are. The depending on who they bring in. I don't know. I don't see another coach that's, available right now or that they could lure away that could replace Harbaugh.
Yeah, that's a weird one. I'd be interested.
Football. It's not Steeler football. It's also not, it's not Rams football.
No.
It's like a very unique combination that works because he has built his roster around the way he coaches and around like the way they play.
Yeah.
You're not going to see success with somebody outside of maybe like a Mike Vrabel type or a Ben Johnson type guy who can really utilize Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry on the offense and mitigate, and let, the air run through Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews. But there's like the defensive aspect too that you're now losing from John Harbaugh because he's phenomenal both sides. He coaches both ways.
Yeah. And
now you've lost that. I think that was stupid. I think the Ravens are going to see that hurt them next season. And I think
absolutely
play a role in what free agents they're able to grab this offseason. If they're trying to reload and build depth, I think they're going to struggle with veterans because unless they bring in somebody who can handle, or whose style is close enough and who can like create a new culture that builds off of Harbaugh's without like scrapping the entirety of what's already like the foundation that's already laid, you're not going to have a lot of vets who want to go play in Baltimore because
they're going to go get Nick Saban.
I could see Nick Saban. I could also see Belichick making his coaching, like returning to the NFL because UNC, he tried to do his whole thing there and it didn't work because he tried to run UNC like the NFL. And the biggest difference between the NFL and college football is that one of them is played by kids, functionally kids, and the other is played by professional adult athletes who do this for
men. Yeah, those are grown ass men out there.
But these kids are still in college. Some of them like they might be in college to go to pro, but they're in college. They're not pro. You can treat a CFL team like this. You can treat whatever the spring league is called. You could treat players in that league like that. You cannot treat college players like they are full-grown adults and expect them to respond well.
No, that's absolutely true.
Belichick really made a great point. He created some really solid evidence for all those. Belichick wouldn't be anything without Brady arguers. And, maybe he wouldn't be. Brady created a culture that kind of worked around Bill Belichick despite everything. And, that could be it. I'd like to see Nick Saban, but I think he would go back to Alabama. He'd go back to Alabama and on national television on the SEC. Oh, no. On the weekly airing of Deep South on ESPN, they would interrupt it and it would just be Kalen DeBoer with a bag over his head at the 50-yard line at Bryant Denny and Nick Saban pulling the trigger, ISIS style, and taking over.
Playing Don't Stop Believing, be like just reenacting the last scene of Sopranos. Spoiler alert. 25 years later. But fucking great show though.
The Steelers have another Steelers season. They're in the playoffs. Mike Tomlin might be the best head coach ever.
I'm a huge Tomlin fan. I'm not sure he's a real human, but I love him.
He might be a robot, and he's figured out the algorithm that keeps his job.
He also has like these folksy sayings that you're just like, what the fuck does that mean? but it's like, and he says it so confidently. I don't know. I'm a huge Mike Tomlin fan. If I wasn't a born and raised Colorado Denver Bronco fan, the Steelers would probably be my team. I just like how they play just a gross, disgusting, gritty style of football, and they always have, always will. I like that about them. I like the Ravens too. Like that's one of the best rivalries in professional football is Ravens Steelers. It's right up there with Chiefs Broncos. Is right up there with the Packers Bears. Like that's a great rivalry, Steelers Bears. And it's always a disgusting football game played by just elite defense. Just a disgusting, awesome football game to watch. Like if you're into those just kind of just gross, nasty, grinded out games, like that's what they give you. It's like Iowa college football is the same way. Just nasty, disgusting, slow, grinded out games. But I guess onto the playoff side of things. So we got the wild card round coming up, starting Saturday. Is that correct?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. So we got Steelers, Texans. That's gonna be a dirty, gross game. I'm gonna enjoy that. Houston 3-point favorites at home. That sounds about right. I like the Texans to win this one. If Rodgers was about 7 years younger, I'd flip that bet. But I will say, Rodgers still can sling it. He threw some fucking darts.
Some real FDRs, as Brandon Perna says. Yeah, I think it's weird. You know, I do wonder. I've never done ayahuasca. But it makes me think of like those scary stories they tell you in the DARE programs about like shrooms, about the guys who take it and they never come down. Mm-hmm. I wonder if like he's just like in an eternal trip at this point, and like the only thing that like he's able to do while he's tripping is just throw bombs.
He's in his own version of Groundhog Day.
Yeah, exactly. Every day he has to wake up. It's like the opposite of Nikola Jokic.
Yeah.
You know, every day he has to wake up and get through the slog of being a human before he can go throw football. Yeah. Nikola Jokic has to get through the slog of playing basketball before he can go hang out with the horses.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
and
I think you're right about the Texans, though. I think it's going to be a Texans Broncos.
DeMeco Ryans is an excellent head coach.
They really lucked out in Houston. He has really kind of come into his own and has really been able to take like a solid team with solid pieces and make it really cohesive.
And, you know, like CJ Stroud had that breakout rookie year, like looked like he was going to just set the world on fire. Came down to earth quite a bit last year. And this year he's been okay, been injured some. I wouldn't say he's been like he hasn't lit the world on fire, but he's been okay. And the Texans have a really good defense. They really came on strong. They got good when it mattered. Like they came on strong at the end of the year. Steelers, I mean, it was a missed field goal that got him there. Mike Tomlin got himself another winning season, as he always does. But yeah, I think it's a first round exit there. I don't think they got enough in the tank. The Texans look pretty good.
I can see it being like an old school kind of Steelers game, just like the one that they just had against the Ravens. Where they lose it because CJ Stroud pulled some magic out of a hat and managed to get them in field goal position just in time, where nobody's mad at Tomlin, where there's no call for, Tomlin needs to go. No, they're like, oh, well, shit happens. We'll go be another 10-7 year next year. 9-8 and we'll be in the playoffs. And
yeah,
okay. I mean, when was the last time Tomlin had a losing season? Has he ever?
I don't think he ever has. I don't think he ever has. Yeah, he's a machine. But yeah, I think it'll 3-point spreads seems about right. But I think the Texans pull it off at home. Jags at the Bills are. Why is it that? That should be it'd be the Bills at the Jags. They got to go down to Duval. Yeah, and the Texans will be at. That changes things a little bit though. Being at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's a tough place to play. Probably be cold. Houston, that's an indoor stadium, isn't it? That's a dome.
Yeah, Houston's got a dome.
Yeah, so I have to look at the weather on that one, but I think I still like the Texans there. Texans are not a soft team. Like if that was the Dolphins, I'd give me the Steelers all day long. But the Texans, they're not a D'Amico Ryans don't have a soft team. He's a defensive guy. So yeah, it changes it a little bit, but I still like the Texans. I think it's going to be a
shootout. It's going to be an NFC shootout or AFC shootout where you get you can't really know who's going to win until the final seconds, and there's going to be 2 touchdowns the entire game.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I lost you for a sec. You froze.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, I double checked. They just have all the home teams listed on top.
Weird.
Stupid.
I don't know why that's.
Why would you do that when you never do that in any?
Yeah, I don't know. It's dumb. They did it on my co-ed softball team this year, and I was like, well, okay. But it was a lady that made it, and so I was like, she's probably not aware of how this works. But now, it bugs me.
Pittsburgh is supposed to be on Monday, high of 36, low of 30 with some wind. I don't know. I don't know what normal wind is for other people anymore.
Yeah, you're in Wyoming. That's
the average wind in Laramie was 56. I had to drive between Cheyenne and Laramie today, and that was 65 winds with gusts up to 90. And that's not even like the windiest day we've had in the past 40 days. So
yeah, I believe that.
Is 10 to 15 mile an hour winds a lot? Who knows? Will it affect the Texans or the Steelers? Maybe. But it's going to be cold, which might affect the Texans more than anything, but it's not going to be there's like a chance of snow, but not anything real, at least according to the National Weather Service. So
like I said, if that was the Dolphins,
play out.
That was the Dolphins there, or like the Cardinals or the Rams, maybe not the Rams so much, but like one of those like warm weather teams, particularly the Dolphins. So like they melt or like they crack in the cold. Like they cannot handle cold weather games.
No, they cannot.
Texans are not like that. So that it does change things a little bit, but I still like the Texans to get the road win there. Bills at the Jags. It's a 1.5 point spread. Buffalo being the favorite. I think the Bills pull it off, but the Jags have been playing really good ball this year. And the Jags tend to do pretty well in the playoffs. When they make it in, they typically win. The
Bills have one way to win this game, and that is to defensively outplay the Jags. Offensively, they're going to be able to keep up. But the only way the Bills are going to win this game is to ensure that Trevor Lawrence is shut down. or at least kept in check to the point that he cannot come back against Josh Allen. Very much the same way that Ole Miss beat Georgia. It's going to have to be, you're going to have to defensively contain Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, and a very explosive and a very consistently productive Jaguars offense in order to outrace them early enough that late in the game, they don't have a chance. You got to be winning by 2-3 scores with less than 5 minutes left. You can't do anything like the Chargers did last season where you're up 28-3 or whatever it was at half, and then you shut down. You have to have consistent production in all 4 quarters, and you have to keep the Jags offense off the field.
Yeah, they gotta get Cook, James Cook going early, and and just feed him. Get him and Josh Allen going on the ground. That'll open up the deep ball, which Allen is elite at. So, yeah, it's a simple plan, but Jags do have a pretty damn good defense too. So, Jags are a pretty good team, and like I said, like historically, they typically win a game or two in the playoffs when they get in. So, I don't be surprised to see the Jags move on, but I like the Bills there. I think I don't know if they make it to the Super Bowl, but I feel like Josh Allen's on a mission. He's if they don't make it, it won't be because of him. No. He's been just an absolute animal. Chargers at the Patriots.
As good as Justin Herbert has been playing this season, and the fact that he has had an improved performance from his receivers like Quentin Johnson, I don't think this is going to be close. I genuinely this Pats team is so complete, alongside the fact that they're going to Foxborough in January. And I think this is going to be a very rough game for the Chargers unless they can get their offense going early and keep it going.
You don't think the Chargers fans are going to travel well to Foxborough?
They don't travel well to Los Angeles.
There are no Chargers fans. No, I think you're right.
I don't think they're going to make the trip out to Massachusetts.
No, I think Vrabel's got the boys humming. The Chargers had a really good year. I think that's a really good football team. Jim Harbaugh's a great coach.
We're having some severe internet issues. I don't know which one of us is the problem. But do we want to go over to the NFC side?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I got the Pats winning that. Seahawks #1 seed there. Panthers and the Rams. Can the Panthers do it? It's in Charlotte. Rams are 10.5 point favorite. Hammer the Panthers to cover that. 10.5 is a lot of points in a playoff game. And the Panthers are not that bad of a team. They're not that good of a team. They're not that bad. I don't see them getting beat by 11 points, but I don't see them winning either.
Can we also talk about the fact that the 8 and 9 Panthers are a higher seed than the 12 and 5 Rams?
This is disgusting.
This is South football. Mm-hmm. You have an 8 and 9 division winner in the Panthers
hosting a 12 and 5 wild card.
12 and 5 Rams team that might be that they genuinely might be a top 3 playoff favorite between the Seahawks, the Broncos, and the Pats.
They're number two at the moment. It's Seahawks, Rams, Broncos are top 3. betting favorites at the moment.
Are a better betting favorite than the Pats?
Yep.
God does exist.
Yep.
Okay, so moving on. Glad we cleared that up. If there was anybody with doubts.
Yeah, Niners at the Eagles.
I like the Niners here. Again, we talk about Philly being a little flatter than last year. And this is a Niners team that's managed to get healthy at the right time.
Yeah. Brock Purdy's a good quarterback.
Brock Purdy, I'm not sure, like in the history of like the best player at every draft pick, the last like Mr. Irrelevant, there's going to be nobody ever better than Brock Purdy.
I don't think so.
And I really like how he's been playing with George Kittle. George Kittle's been playing well, despite facing some early setbacks via injury. McCaffrey
CMC's healthy.
Yes, and I'm like, when you have a healthy 49ers team, you're going to be hard pressed to find a really easy way around them. I don't think the Eagles can contain their offense, and I don't think the Eagles' offense this year is going to be able to compete with the 49ers' offense. Defensively, I think they're pretty evenly matched, but I think the offense that San Francisco puts forward is just so much more powerful and consistent than the Eagles.
At this point in the year, I agree with you. If you would have asked earlier in the year,
no.
But the way the Niners offense has been playing here lately they've really stepped it up. They're playing well. Their defense is not the same. The Broncos did a good job of rating the Niners defense. But it's more than serviceable, I'd say. It's still a good defense. The line's Philly's a favorite, 4.5 points. I like the Niners to cover there. I might look at taking them to win outright.
I would take the Niners to win outright. I don't know.
The Eagles, they look a little tired. They I don't know if they got the gas, but they also got a lot of playoff experience and a lot of playoff success. So I don't know if I pick the Niners to win outright, but I am gonna pick them to cover. I think that's a field goal game, regardless of who comes out ahead. And then we got the old school NFC North rivalry, Packers at the Bears. I think the Bears lose this one at home. I don't think that the Packers are necessarily a better team than the Bears. I just don't believe in the Bears. I just don't. I think the Packers figure out a way to squeak it out in Soldier Field. I think Rob's gonna my buddy Rob is gonna possibly commit Harry Carey. Maybe not. I don't think he's started painting his nails yet, but he probably is close. He's on the Caleb Williams bandwagon, and it's gonna fail him, but he's used to it. He's a Bears fan. They've never had a good quarterback. Outside of Jay Cutler, they had Jay Cutler.
They had Brian Greasy for a while when I was a real little kid. When I was 4.
That's true.
I had a Greasy jersey, and then my cousins came out from Wisconsin and saw it, and they burned it in the backyard. My mom screamed, and I was giggling. I was like cackling. I loved it. I thought it was a Broncos jersey because he played for the Broncos.
Yeah.
Before they traded for Cutler, but no, it was a Bears Greasy jersey. And
that's funny.
Put that up on the grill.
That's funny.
That's a core memory. Like my Midwestern wrestling cousins came down from like the backwoods of central Wisconsin. We're like, we're gonna burn this jersey and you're gonna be okay with it.
Don't you know?
There's nothing you could do about it. We're gonna do this, okay? Fuck the Bears, go Pack.
Yeah.
I think you're right about the Packers beating the Bears. I think that this is a Bears team that's good, but they have yet to reach their ceiling, especially under Ben Johnson with Caleb Williams. And I hate them. So
yeah, and I can't bring myself to like Caleb Williams. I can't stand him. So
I don't
I don't
Caleb
wish for him to fail. I just don't wish for him to succeed either.
I think I would like Caleb Williams a lot more if he didn't play for the fucking Bears.
I don't know. I find him thoroughly unlikable. But I gotta go take a pee real quick, and we'll come back and do the college football playoff, and then wrap it up with a little bit of baseball.
All right.
Everybody, hang on just 1 second. All right, we're back. All right, so college football, I gotta say, I've got a lot of questions as to how it's going to look coming forward, because I think we witnessed the last dying gasp of the bowl system this year. We had major teams from major conferences just declining to go to any bowls. We had several teams with losing records playing in bowl games that,
which is the first time, but it's the first time that we've had them playing in bowls because winning record teams or qualified teams decline.
Right.
And not just like you didn't just have like teams in the MAC or the Sun Belt declining bowl bids. You had Notre Dame, you had K-State, you had big name not blue blood schools for K-State at least, but like,
but they're a step below blue blood. Yeah. They're in the conversation right after the blue bloods.
Yeah,
for sure.
That color blood is.
Yeah,
I think I think we're going to see a shift towards a more FCS style playoff system with 24 teams. I don't know. I don't hate the bowl system because I think it does reward teams that otherwise wouldn't get the chance. It's fun.
I think the only way you get around the only way you save the bowl system is you put it in their NIL contract that either requirements that they play a bowl game or monetary incentives. Which, I mean, it makes sense if we're going this route of paying the college players, which I think is fair. Honestly, I think that's
I do think they need to be paid, but I also don't think they need to be getting paid the way that they are.
Right. Well, and also I'm a fan. Like, as far as the product on the field, I've been thoroughly pleased with college football this year. Like, it's been fun to watch. Like, some of the best teams that I've ever seen have been put together, and it's the playoff games have been, for the most part, excellent. And even like JMU, they I wouldn't even say they got blown out. They covered the spread, and they put up 34 on Oregon's at Oregon, by the way. Something that Texas Tech was unable to do. They didn't put up any points.
Tulane had already, like, that was the other thing too that surprised me and impressed me with JMU. Tulane, this was a rematch. Tulane had already seen this offense, had already seen this defense, had already played them in Oxford, and then to go in and get blown out, worse than they did the first time. I think that really made JMU look a lot better, and JMU's performance really kept the arguments for why we shouldn't have group of 5 teams in the playoff to a minimum. Because first off, those arguments are fucking stupid.
Yeah. I think I don't think you just reward somebody just for being in the SEC. Yeah, you play the schedule that you play. I understand that, and these smaller conferences are not going to ever have the competition that a SEC schedule brings. However,
but look at USF.
Yeah.
Look at a Tulane, like a USF team. They didn't finish the season as strong as they could have, but they had 3 ranked opponents in the first 3 weeks of the season, and they had 3 wins. They had 4 actually in the first 4, and they had 3 wins.
Yep.
They lost to a Miami team who's in the semifinal. Like,
yep.
We want to talk about how these group of 5 teams can't hang, but they absolutely can. And people are talking about how the product on the field is like shifting. No, you've got 1 or 2 really rich guys who went to every fucking college there is in the FBS. They are funneling money into Miami, Ohio. They're funneling money into well, not Wyoming, but like everywhere else.
Texas Tech. Look at Texas Tech.
They were like, hey, y'all got rich on finding all the oil around here. Why don't you guys put that money back and we can maybe be good at football? And they're like, okay. And they were. Like, you want to talk – and Texas Tech, their performance against Oregon was disappointing, but not altogether surprising.
Well, and then also for all those people that are like talking about the money destroying college football, and I think there is a valid point to be made there. However, Texas Tech and Texas A&M spent a shitload of money, and all that money bought them 3 points in the college football playoffs. 3 points out of the state of Texas in the college football playoff.
I think the way the money is being moved around, I think needs to be improved. I think we look at like 20 years ago when players were getting suspended and, you know, their eligibility revoked because their coach took them to dinner.
Yeah.
Cookout or Sonic or whatever bullshit and spent $30 of their own money on dinner. It's an adult helping a child eat.
Yeah.
That's what pisses me off. Give these kids like $4,000 a month. Get them a nice apartment, make them have standards, and then you can start like, oh, well, you know, you're the best player this school has ever seen. You know, all of these people want to have like, we want to like NIL actually use it for name, image, and likeness, not just an excuse to just give somebody in the transfer portal the most amount of money they've ever seen.
Well, it's funny as we kind of already seen this with not so much with the money, but with the one and done type stuff in college basketball, and that really didn't pan out. There was a couple teams that won. You know, Kentucky won 1 or 2.
There was an era where UNC, Kentucky, Duke, and Kansas were really thriving off these one and done players, and then it stopped working.
Right, and I think we're going to see that. Well, but like I mean, the A&M Texas Tech examples is a great example. They put a lot of money into it. Ohio State
We've
put
lost
a
Matt
shitload
again.
of money.
I mean, the product stopped being there for college basketball in the way that the one and done method was not as effective.
Right. Well, and I think you're going to see a lot of the blue bloods build teams more, and that they're always gonna be the
I think
Yankee
you're
type
right. I think
teams.
we'll start seeing more of these blue bloods, like we're seeing with Alabama right now. Not just the fact that they've lost Nick Saban; they still have a good coach with Kalen
DeBoer.
With how Alabama's fallen off, I can see them kind of reapproaching the system and trying to redevelop that. Hey, no, you're going to come here and you're going to stay.
Well, so on that note, like Alabama led off the college football playoff. They went into Norman, beat OU at home 34-24. It was a good game.
17-0 early in the second.
Yeah, they came storming back. It was a great performance by Alabama. It was a solid start for OU. OU looked like they were there for real. Ended up being a good game, but yeah, Alabama came storming back. They looked like they belonged there in the playoffs. Oregon, James Madison, a little bit of a lopsided score. Oregon pulled some of their starters, but I mean, to go into Eugene and put up 34 on Oregon, that's no small feat.
They won the second half. They put up 28 to Oregon 17. And no matter what, I mean, yeah, obviously they gave up, 34 in the first.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I mean, 34 to one of the best offenses on the best teams, in the country. And then to put up 28 and figure your shit out and hold them despite, not playing their best. They were still playing their number one in the third.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was a fine performance by James Madison, I think.
And that was good football. I like this Oregon team. They seem complete. I mean, they're complete enough that they could play their entire backup roster in the second half.
Yeah. Now Oregon's a good football team. Yeah, Oregon's a good football team. They handled business. I thought James Madison put up a fine effort. Nobody expected them to win, but I did bet them to cover the spread, and they did. So good on them. Ole Miss kicked the shit out of Tulane. No surprise there. Miami over.
Well, this Tulane
A&M.
team, I was incredibly disappointed in. They put up a worse fight in the playoff than they did against Ole Miss in the regular season, and that's kind of, you can't do that. You can't put up 10 points in a playoff game against arguably the most explosive offense in the playoff. And that's
that Trinidad Chambliss kid is good. He's really good.
I think it's kind of fun. He's looking for a 6 year of eligibility because he did have a season where he played one game and then had a season-ending injury, and that was that. So
and then he also had the COVID year. So yeah, he's one of the last of the COVID crop that's still hanging on with their 9 years of eligibility or whatever.
Last year, I really hope he actually gets 2 years of eligibility because I hope next season he transfers to an FCS school, maybe Montana State, Montana
State, who just won the national championship.
Back-to-back, and then I hope he gets a 7th and he goes to D3 and wins one. I mean, could you imagine a quarterback who played 4 years in college, freshman year won a D3 title, sophomore won a D2, junior won an FCS title, and senior won an FBS title? I think that's pretty cool. But besides that, Trinidad Chambliss has been consistently one of the best SEC quarterbacks. He's a dual threat, but he's smart in the pocket. And he's really allowed Ole Miss to continue the same play style that they had with Jackson Dart that has like really worked, these explosive big plays, these big, like his legs allow Kewan Lacey to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
And his ability with his arm and his ability to run creates the opportunity for both a really strong pass game and a really strong run game. And you're going to be hard pressed to find a team that can stop that. So far, the only team that was able to was Georgia, and they got a little lucky because they took advantage when Ole Miss kind of faltered in the third, early fourth quarter in their regular season matchup. But then Ole Miss turned around and handily beat the SEC champs.
Yeah.
And it was closer it's close at the end, but it was not that close.
It was a butt whooping. Ole Miss went in there and beat their ass. Like the score was a little closer than the game was. Like that was an ass whooping by Ole Miss. But so Miami goes into A&M and low scoring game. Miami's defense is no joke. And
I don't know if
Texas coming in, or the state of Texas saving their scoring record in the CFP playoffs with a lone field goal for the Aggies.
I don't know. You said Miami's defense is no joke. I honestly just think Texas A&M is a joke.
Maybe
this was bound to happen. It happened later than usual this year, but
I was going to say, I treat A&M like Clemson before they went on their run, like where they were always almost there, it seemed like, and then it just fell apart. And this happened in the first round of the playoffs. So state of Texas is out again. And then Miami follows it up with a incredible performance in the Cotton Bowl against Ohio State. And there's only a 10-point difference in the score, but this also was an ass whooping. Miami went in and handled business against Ohio State, which talent-wise, easily the best team in the country. Like they got so many dudes. But like the two real challenges they had this year was Indiana in the Big Ten championship and then Miami, and they got handled both times. A more talented team both times, and they got handled. So talent's not always best. It damn sure helps. But yeah, Miami went in, handled business 24-14 over the Ohio State, and I kind of love it. I'm no real fan of Miami, but Ohio State fans suck. So yeah, glad to see it.
I really like this game from Kurt Signetti. I kind of, after the first quarter, I was honestly expecting some explosive from Jalen Milroe, and they never materialized. I mean, Indiana, it's like those things you used to put a candle out.
Yeah.
That's what they did to Alabama the entire game. And they took an Alabama team that played really well in Oklahoma and just made them look silly. Honestly, this Alabama team, that the way Alabama played against Indiana, you might have seen Tulane do better. You might have seen Texas Tech do better than the way Alabama played. Everything Alabama did, Indiana had an answer for.
Yep.
And I think it's funny because Alabama was Nick Saban's team, and if you look at the quarterfinal or the semifinals right now, every team that's made the Final Four in the playoff are Saban coaches.
Yep, all from the Saban coaching tree,
They've all been Saban assistants at some point in their careers, and to watch a Saban assistant dismantle with prejudice Alabama.
Yep.
I don't know. I think Kurt Signetti got crossed off the Christmas card list after that because
probably so.
I think Miss Terry was just like, I'm done. Nope, so sorry. Look how mad you done made Mr. Saban. This Indiana team, I think, is the best team in college football by far. They're the best.
I think so too. Just dog walked Alabama.
No one dog walked Alabama this season.
Mm-mm.
Not even Florida State or Georgia.
No, and
Georgia beat them pretty handily in the SEC championship, and it was not a dog walk the way Indiana took them for a stroll.
Yeah, it was
impressive, complete football.
Yep, they utter domination from Indiana, and then that was a great game. Ole Miss Georgia, it was a great game. Fantastic performance by Ole Miss. I mean, it was a good game by Georgia too, but not enough.
When I say it was not as close as it appeared. Georgia never seemed like they were in control.
No, even when they were up,
by points, but it never felt like they were in control. It felt like the reversal of the Ole Miss Georgia game in the regular season, where even though Ole Miss was up, it never felt like they were 100% in control. Offensively, Ole Miss played consistent football. They did their jobs. They got their points, and then
on schedule.
Their defense was holding a very good Georgia defense to little to nothing when they could. I mean, they gave up 3 scores in the second, and then proceeded to give up 3 scores the rest of the game.
Yep. And it was a solid performance by Ole Miss.
Performance.
Yeah. And it really muddied the picture because everybody thought Ole Miss was coming out swinging first round of the playoffs with Lane Kiffin being Lane Kiffin. I mean, everybody kind of saw that coming, but it's always a spectacular train wreck when it does happen.
He's the best. He's like, I don't know if you ever watched The Addams Family, the old TV show.
Oh, not the new one.
Okay, well, the old one with Gomez Adams, he would always go and blow up trains.
Mm-hmm.
So excited about blowing up his model trains. And that's Lane Kiffin. Somebody outside of this metaphysical space loves the Lane train, but loves blowing it up even more. And
I want to shake their hand. I can't wait till, when I'm like in my 60s to watch the documentary about Lane Kiffin, because that dude just ran through SEC sorority girls and football teams.
You know how many hot yoga sessions I did with him in Oxford? Like you would go to hot yoga at Core Power downtown Oxford, and he would be there. I probably have done yoga with that man 4 or 5 times, and it was me, my sorority girl wife, and a bunch of other sorority girls, and Lane Kiffin.
I believe that.
That man, I don't know. I think it's interesting that we didn't see it coming, despite the fact that Tennessee fans warned us, USC fans warned us, Alabama fans warned us, Ole Miss fans were Kiffin's people were like, yeah, he doesn't know. And we're seeing Kiffin just bought a house in Baton Rouge. And we're like, okay, and what do you mean? You don't leave Oxford for Baton Rouge. Also, people are talking about Kiffin leaving for another job, a better job. I don't see LSU in the fucking playoffs, Lane. I see an Ole Miss team with 2 wins, one over the SEC champ, avenging their only loss of the season, your loss. I see a team that's 2-0 in a playoffs that you never won. You've never won a game in the playoffs. Pete Golding is 2-0, And Pete Golding is 2-0 against a team that beat you this season.
Yep.
And LSU is dysfunctional. They are consistently dysfunctional. Outside of the Ed Orgeron era, they have not been a consistently functional top 25 SEC team in the past 10 years.
No, they had the run with the Mad Hatter. What was his name?
Before, yeah, but
Les Miles, and then Ed Orgeron, and then.
But Les Miles wasn't like I mean Ed Orgeron on. We have not Brian Kelly, huge miss. I mean, when
that guy sucks so hard.
Celebrating the fact that you're new when the old fans are celebrating that their coach is gone, you might have made a mistake. And that was Brian Kelly. I don't know wherever he's at now. R.I.P.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where he's at. But then I guess to round up the quarterfinals, Oregon over Texas Tech. I actually did not watch any Texas Tech games this year.
I watched a couple.
They were, from what I understood, they were pretty good. They did not
Texas, and not in a good way.
They did not show up. Yeah, and they got the bye, number 4 seed, and then just got rolled by Oregon. But Oregon's a good football team. They have been for a long time.
But then it felt like they gave up. I mean, like they were down 13-0 going into the 4th.
Yeah, and they just showed no life.
Rolled over. They had there was a chance. They had the most explosive offense in the playoff up until this point. They had one of the most explosive offenses outside of North Texas in the country, and yet they couldn't come up with anything. And what's
not
really
a thing
that their one loss came on the road at Arizona State when their quarterback was out with an injury. Okay, well, their quarterback was healthy this game. They had
not healthy enough.
Solid roster. And you're telling me they couldn't muster a field goal against Oregon? And this is not a bad Oregon team. No. But this is an Oregon team that does have some holes. They did give up 34 to JMU, and that's not saying anything against JMU, but they gave up 34. To anybody, 34 is a lot, even if you drop 50. To not put up a single point against a team that had just given up 34 tells me that this offense was a facade the whole season. And it
was not good.
It really kind of shows the level of play in the Big 12.
Yeah.
If this is their best team that they can put forward. And that's not to say Texas Tech was not a good team.
But if their
team couldn't score a point after receiving a bye, that's like TC. I don't know. Maybe Texas just sucks in the playoff. Maybe they suck, right? You had TCU get blown out by Georgia.
Are you saying that Texas is bad at football?
I think I am.
The state of Texas is bad at football.
Think the state of Texas, they should look into like a sport that I think they'd be really good at, like soccer.
Like soccer.
As a former soccer player myself, I'm a big soccer girl. I think Texas, you guys just lean into soccer, okay? Forget football. Those days are over. Just go play soccer, okay? You guys,
I think so.
Go play soccer. Nobody really cares. Arch Manning, I think, would make a phenomenal soccer player. He's already a little field fairy, You know who else would be a great soccer player is that kicker at Oklahoma. His short little legs.
Yeah.
His little like shorts that are. All right. Well,
so Thursday we got Miami Ole Miss and the Fiesta Bowl. The line right now, we got Miami, the favorite, 3.5 point spread, over under at 52.5. I like the under. I feel like it's going to be a low scoring affair.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
How Miami has played high-scoring offenses, they've kept them in shootouts.
Okay.
They've been in shootouts with these guys. They have not defensively held them at all. The defense, when you have a team like this, like how they played Ohio State this season was not an explosive, high-scoring, high-flying offense. They were a dirty, in the trenches, efficient offense.
Okay.
I mean, Miami lost to like Notre Dame. They put up 27 against Notre Dame. That's not saying that Notre Dame is a bad defense, but like that's as much as Miami could score. Miami, the most points they've put up this season, I think, was 49 against USF. And that was a ranked win against USF. But South Florida's defense was kind of consistently porous. Against Florida State, they only put up 28. Like against these really high-flying schools, they didn't really do much. Defensively is where Miami is going to have to beat Ole Miss, and I don't think Miami has played a single team, looking at their schedule, who remotely has any offensive prowess the way Ole Miss does. I think right now Ole Miss is the second best offense left on the board. I think they are the best point scoring offense, but I don't think they're the best offense. I think they can score points better than Indiana, but Indiana can run the offense a little bit. They can play the game a little bit.
Indiana's a wagon, I think. I think you could be right on that, but looking at
30, and Ole Miss is going to put up 45, and they're going to put up 45 early. They're going to put up. I think I can see Ole Miss having a 30-point first half and being held to 2 scores in the second. I can see them 4 touchdowns and a field goal, 31 in the first, and being held to 2 touchdowns in the second half. And that's all they need, because they can just outrace Miami just that much. Carson Beck, people are really high on Carson Beck. Carson Beck is not the reason Miami has been winning. Miami's been winning because of their defense. Ole Miss
defensive line in particular has been outstanding, and that's where I'm leaning. Just the way that Miami has won their games has been in the trenches.
You're right. I like where your mind's at with the defensive line, but can Miami contain Trinidad Chambliss?
That's
because Georgia is also another
question.
Team with a phenomenal defensive line.
Yeah,
and they were unable to contain Trinidad Chambliss. And
if it comes to a shootout, I guess long story short, I like Ole Miss to cover the 3.5 for sure. I'll probably take a flyer on them to win outright. But I also kind of like the under. I think as we progress in this playoffs, it's getting to be more like NFL playoff football, where points don't come easy. Where it's just every yard counts, and even shitty defenses get real stingy in the playoffs. So that's kind of the game I'm looking at. But I won't be that surprised if it's also a shootout, which definitely does favor Ole Miss. If it comes to an old-fashioned shootout, I like Ole Miss for sure. And in that case, I like them winning, running away.
I think the defense Ole Miss played was Georgia the entire time this season.
Mm-hmm.
They put up 35 and 39. Now,
that's a solid point.
Now LSU, not to rag on LSU all that much, when LSU and Ole Miss played, I mean, LSU's defense was not their problem this year. It was Garrett Nussmeier not playing up to the expectations. They put up 24 against LSU. Every single, and that's not a lot by Ole Miss standards. But if that was the best defense if the best defenses that they faced, they still put up 3+ scores 4 or more scores in every single game against a top 3 defense. I don't think Miami is going to be any different. And I don't think Miami's offense holds up to Ole Miss's defense. I think Ole Miss's offense is going to have issues with Miami's defense, but not as many issues as Miami's offense is going to have with Ole Miss's defense, and that's what it's going to come down to.
Okay. So you like Ole Miss to cover? You like them to win?
I like them to win outright, and I'm trying to step back from the homer pick, but I do like them over Miami. If Ole Miss was playing Indiana, I would be saying I think Ole Miss might cover the spread because I'd expect the spread to be pretty large. And I'd say take the over, but I would not say take Ole Miss outright. I'm saying take Ole Miss outright because I do not believe Miami has the offense to compete with Ole Miss's defense the way that Ole Miss's offense can kind of go toe-to-toe with the Miami defense. And
yeah, I think that's an accurate I think that's a good assessment, honestly. Yeah, and but I think we're seeing like a change of style of college football play with the longer season and the playoffs, where it's the game slows down a little. I mean, like the pace of the game slows down as the season wears on. So I kind of like the under. I might tease that number up and then to say like a 58.5 and take the under.
I feel like Ole Miss is going to score at least 30, and I feel like Miami is going to probably put up at least 3 touchdowns, maybe a field goal, maybe 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Say Miami could cover the spread. I mean, Ole Miss likes to win by like this much. They like to win by the skin of their teeth.
But so Miami's favored, so I think yeah, I think Ole Miss, win or lose, I think it's gonna if they lose, it's not gonna be by more than 3. I don't think. I think if Ole Miss wins, it's gonna be by at least 7 points. If Miami wins, I think it's by a field goal. But I like Ole Miss in this game, and I'm thinking it's somewhere like a 24-10, 24-17 type of game. But like you see, you've watched way more Ole Miss football than I have, and now Oregon, Indiana. I'm very intrigued by this game because it's a matchup. Indiana beat Oregon in Eugene earlier this season. The one loss on Oregon's record is to Indiana. I think it was like a 10-point win.
It was a let's see if I can find it. Oh, it was 30-20.
30-20. But that was in Eugene, notoriously tough place to play. One of the biggest home field advantages in all of college football is Eugene, the Duck Pond in Eugene, Oregon, and to go in and beat them by 10, like that's doing something there. That's a big win. Now you're meeting them back in the semifinal. Right now they've got Indiana 3.5-point favorite, over under at 47.5. I got no clue on the spread. I mean, not the spread, on the total points. I don't know how this game's going to go because Indiana can win however you want it.
That's my thing. Indiana can win defensively or offensively. Oregon against good defenses struggled to put up points.
Yeah,
they beat a great. I mean, this is for Big Ten. Iowa had one of their best defensive seasons.
Yeah,
in a long time, and that's saying a lot. They only put up 18 against Iowa. Against against a Texas Tech team who's normally offensively very point forward, shootout wise, and they have a good defense and they've held their opponents. Oregon only put up 23.
Yeah.
When you're holding a team to 0, when you shut out a team and you only put up 23, that speaks to the other team's defense a lot more than it speaks negatively of your offense.
Yeah.
And Indiana is one of those teams that can win ugly, it can win pretty, but it's going to win soundly. And
they beat Iowa in a classic Iowa football matchup, which is, that Iowa's the Pittsburgh Steelers of college football.
Yeah, and not
the uglier and nastier it is, the more they like it.
20-15 versus 18-16 are the head-to-head matchups against Iowa. Oregon winning by 2 and Indiana winning by 5. I think Dan Lanning is going to keep this close. I think we're going to see a much closer game, but I think this is going to be a little bit more offensive.
I'm kind of thinking that too, because like Oregon's got a good defense for sure. They learned how to play ball in the Big Ten. Like they fit in pretty well in the Big Ten. That was one I wasn't real for sure about. Minus geography aside. But Kurt Cignetti has got something going there in Indiana. Like that team looks really fucking good. Like they look really good. I think Oregon, I think they keep it close. 3.5 is probably about right. This is probably a field goal game. Maybe a touchdown game. If I don't see Oregon winning it. I think a field goal game is their best, like their best outcome.
I can see them needing a field goal, running out of timeouts, and not being able. I can see the Indiana defense making a couple key plays that keep them out of field goal range and end the game.
Yeah. I think the best case scenario is, the Oregon loses by a field goal. I think more likely it's probably like a 10-point game. I don't think it's going to be a total blowout, but I think it's going to be 2 scores. In Indiana just looks like a wagon. They looked really, really good.
People were talking about how this Indiana team was not going to be as good as this team they had last year. And
they're significantly better.
They are miles ahead. And that was a 12-win team.
It was a really good team that they earned their way into the playoff, but they didn't really belong in the playoff last year. They earned a spot, but it was a fluky deal last year.
I don't know if I would say that. I would say they earned their way into the playoffs, but they weren't. Like, there's levels in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right now, like, Ole Miss didn't make it last year, but they made it this year, and they're playing at that level. Oregon is playing at that level. Miami is playing at this level, and even teams like Ohio State, who kind of were not able to compete offensively with Miami, but that's not saying much. Like, that's like the level that Indiana needed to be playing at last year to compete. Yeah. And they weren't there. They made their way to the playoff. They earned the spot. They deserved every right to play. But were they at that level? No. And they figured that out, and they were like, okay, then what do we do to get there? And they got, the Mendoza brothers. They brought in a lot of their – they returned a lot of players. They went in the portal and got good players, and they set themselves up for this season. Is it sustainable? Potentially.
Cignetti extended.
Cignetti's whole thing is sustainable.
Yeah, and he just signed an extension to stay. So, like, he was like the first guy on everybody's lips. Like, as he, before he signed, like, is he gonna Is he going to be, headed to Penn State or one of the other? No, he signed. He's like, no, I'm here, and that's huge for Indiana because Indiana was consistently a terrible football team, but they're a blue blood in basketball. Like they have like blue, they are a blue blood, just in a different sport. Now, like with a season like this, they could legit become a blue blood and become a dominant force in the Big Ten on the football side.
I mean, they might be like the next Alabama dynasty.
They could.
Where you have this consistent, who's going to be in the playoff? Well, you've got Indiana. They're going to make it the same way Alabama is always in that conversation. Indiana might replace them.
Yep.
And I don't know. I like this Indiana team. I like the way they play football. It is everything that's good about Big Ten football and everything that's good about like Kurt Cignetti football. This is not the same style of play he coached at JMU. This is like that smash mouth run game, but he still has got these passing, like the heavy pass focus, but they spread it around.
Yeah.
And they're going deep, they're going mid, they're going short. They're using all parts of the field, whether it's a run or a pass. And those are the kinds of teams that win championships, and that's the kind of culture that continues to win championships.
Well, and they're also undersized compared to a lot of the Big Ten. Like they're still big boys, but for a Big Ten team, they're on the smaller side. So they've adapted. They still play a power game, but it's very dynamic.
And it's quick. It's quick.
And no, I was really impressed with the way they handled Alabama. I mean, it was that was an absolute beatdown, and I was impressed when the way they handled Ohio State in the Big Ten championship. I was like, okay, these guys this is a real football team, and then when they just dismantled Alabama, okay, I don't know who beats them. I really don't. Oregon, I think they can. If they're really on their game, they can maybe get it to overtime and kind of squeak something out. But I think that's highly unlikely, and I think Indiana handles business the way they have been. I think they come out, they play a violent style of football, and it's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah. There one other game in an indoor stadium. That was the Big Ten championship in Indianapolis, where they won a defensive shootout against arguably the best defense this season in the Big Ten, or maybe the second best if you look at Iowa, but in Ohio State.
Yeah.
I think this is it's going to be a game I can see Oregon putting up 23, 27, like keeping it close, but I think Indiana is going to find some rhythm in the second half and pull away.
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't think Oregon is going to cover the spread. And that's not saying anything against Oregon. I think they're going to play better against this team than they did before, but I don't think that they are going to be able to contain the offense and also manage the defense, because against a team that does both so well, you really are going to have to play perfect football. And I don't think Oregon is going to be able to play perfect football. And I say that
I don't think so either.
Damn close the first time they played Indiana, and they still gave up 3. And this is an Indiana team that is kind of in their element at this point. They're in their bag. They've worked to get to this point, and they're running on all cylinders.
Yeah, and they've been hot all year, but they really got hot these last couple weeks, and like statement wins. It was a statement win against Ohio State. That was, and even more so against Alabama. That was the get the fuck out of my playoff bracket. I'm moving on. That's like, you're not even worth my time here. Get the fuck out type of win. The Ohio State was like, no, we belong here. We belong here, and we're going to show you. But it was like it was almost disrespectful what they did to Alabama, and I love it. It's just, it's like, get the fuck out. 38-3. Yeah, get the fuck out.
I'm a big fan of Alabama getting manhandled. And, we talk about Alabama's defense being like a key aspect to their wins this season. They didn't have it against Indiana. Oregon's defense has been a key aspect. They have not been this offensive juggernaut.
No, not typically that you see come out of Oregon.
They are a defense first team.
Like they adjusted to the Big Ten dramatically.
Yeah, and they did it very well. But similar to the matchup between Ole Miss and Miami, I don't think Oregon's defense can handle Indiana's offense the way Indiana's defense can handle Oregon's offense. I think on both sides of the ball, and Oregon is going to put up a fight, and Indiana's going to have to work it out for them. But there is more room for error from Indiana than there is from Oregon. Oregon has to play near perfect football the same way Miami does, at least offensively, in order to keep up and to keep their chances alive.
No, I think that's absolutely correct.
Indiana's the best shot we've had ever at a 16-0 season since, and a perfect season like that, because we haven't had 16 games in a season since, like, I don't know, like whenever fucking Yale or Princeton did it back in the 20s. But like
when they played each other 3 times.
Yeah, but like I genuinely believe this Indiana team might be one of the best ever. And it's because they're so dynamic, and it's because they can adapt to so many different play styles. They can play smash mouth football with Iowa and Wisconsin and Ohio State, and then they can go win shootouts.
Oh yeah,
and then they
can, and with convincingly too.
Yeah, and like they've got real track speed. It's like those, we were talking about that earlier. They're like those big guys who can. Who play running back or whatever, and then they can still go run like a 10 to 100 meter dash. Yeah. They can't run much further than 100 meters, but they're going to so much faster in that 100 than you are, that it's going to look like they were running a completely different race.
Yeah. No, they're Indiana's just playing on another level, and Oregon's got 1 loss this year. They're going to have 2, and it's going to be the same team. And I think they know it, but it's going to be a good game. I'm looking forward to it. But I'm hoping for Indiana Ole Miss. I'm actually okay with any combination of these 4.
This is of the past playoffs that we've had. I know my team's in it, but I wouldn't be mad at a single one of these teams winning.
I've got no team in this fight, but I'm okay with any of the possible matchups. It's good for college football to have a team like Miami be good. Like it's you need those teams. It's what makes college football. But I'm really intrigued by this Indiana team. Oregon's kind of like the Josh Allen of college football. Like they're always almost there. They're always almost there. They just can't do it. And then Ole Miss is kind of a Cinderella story. Particularly,
they lost their head coach, arguably one of the best coaches in college football.
They arguably would have been a kind of a Cinderella story with Lane Kiffin. Then you have Lane Kiffin up and gone. They're definitely and now they got 2 wins under their belt in the playoff. Okay, they got just as good a chance as anybody to win this thing. And the Lane thing has just it hadn't affected them in the way I thought it would. I thought they would win that first game in the blowout, and then I was like, I don't know how it's going to look against Georgia. Like, are they going to run out of steam? You know, it's like the Tigers last year when they went on that magical run, and then just petered out at the end, like the Rockies when they made it to the series, and then just petered out at the end, just ran out of steam. And I was like, is that how Ole Miss is going to be? But no, they went out and put a whooping on Georgia. Okay. Well, it gets easier from here because Georgia's a better team than Miami, I think. So
yeah, and that's my biggest thing is that Georgia's a better team offensively and defensively than Miami. Yeah. And Miami, I think in terms of defense, it's Indiana, Miami, Oregon, Ole Miss. And they are all very close in terms of defense. Yeah. But I would probably put Georgia over Miami and Oregon in terms of defense, if not over.
I think so.
And to look at Ole Miss being able to play under pressure against a team that had already beat them despite them leading by 2 scores in the second half, like to have the composure and to have that really solid veteran leadership from someone like Trinidad Chambliss, and I think this is the best Ole Miss team ever. They like to talk about it. We claim a national title in the 60s. But this, I think, is the best Ole Miss team ever. This is better than their 2014 team that beat Alabama. This is better than Eli Manning's teams ever were. This is a great Miami team, but it's not the best Miami team ever.
Oh, not even close.
Beck is not even in the top 5 Miami quarterbacks ever.
No, Miami's a good team. They've been impressive in the playoffs this far, for sure.
I really like this Miami team, and I do think that speaks more to the legacy at Miami than it does to disparage it. I think this Miami team is 12-2. They're in the semifinals for the playoffs. They've beaten.
I think they've got a legit coach down there in Cristobal.
I was not high on Mario Cristobal. He struggled in the clutch and has kind of shown that, hey, we figured it out.
He might be a guy, I think he's a pretty good coach. I think it's going to be Ole Miss, Indiana, but I won't be surprised. I'd be surprised if Oregon squeaks it out. I would be surprised at that. And that's no shade to Oregon. I just think Indiana is clearly the best team in the country. I won't be surprised either way. I think Ole Miss pulls it off, but I won't be surprised if it turns into a real ugly game, like low scoring. I think that far favors Miami.
Without a doubt. If Miami's defense figures out Ole Miss's offense,
it's a different ball game.
It's a completely different ball game.
I don't know if they pull it off, but it definitely favors Miami if it's a low scoring affair.
And Miami has to come out of the gate expecting to get punched in the mouth.
Yep.
Often and frequently, like quickly and often, because that's Ole Miss football. And it's interesting because that's not how they played against Georgia. But when you're going up against these strong defenses, and I think against Georgia they played slow because they knew consistency was going. They couldn't be flashy because Georgia.
Well, no, because Georgia just grinded out, and
Georgia keep up offensively.
Ole Miss had the lead going into the fourth quarter of the first game, and ended up letting it slip away. It didn't happen the second time around.
And I think a big reason for that is that Ole Miss recognized that if they played it slow because Georgia offensively could keep up.
Yeah, well, and they didn't give away possessions. They made if they didn't get points, they flipped the field. And they played good, solid football, disciplined football, and I was really impressed with them. So that being said, I think they're kind of on a mission, and it feels inevitable that we got Ole Miss, Indiana, and it's going to be like two Cinderella type stories. And I don't think anybody's stopping Indiana. I could be wrong, but they look really fucking good.
I would like to see like a 49-45 shootout in the national championship game.
Yeah.
And I just like Trinidad Chambliss, I think should have been higher in the Heisman voting than he was because of what he's been able to do at Ole Miss. And I think you would see two of the best quarterbacks in college football right now, in Fernando Mendoza and Trinidad Chambliss. And I don't think that is the same matchup you get with Oregon and Miami.
Carson. No, I don't think so either.
And I don't know. I'm excited for this week because we've got two great games where there's so many things that could go right for all these teams, and there's so many things that can go wrong. Yeah. But I'm so excited to see what goes right for who. And what goes
and then on the NFL side, I mean, wild card weekend is always insanity. So it's gonna be fun. We got two great games Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday we got the NFL playoffs, and still not as good as baseball, but it's pretty, as far as football goes, it doesn't get much better.
Exciting right now. I don't think I've been alive for a better NFL postseason and college football postseason.
Yeah, it's exciting, and on the baseball end, there hadn't been a whole lot going on, and we've been at this for 2.5 hours. So
let's hit that.
We'll take a rain check on baseball and basketball. But yeah, I'm looking forward to all these games. But this college football semifinal is going to be really interesting. I think it's going to be really entertaining on both sides. So looking forward to it, and we'll try to get another one out next week. So yeah, you got anything else?
No, watch these games. They're going to be good.
Yep.
The only thing I'm bummed about is that the Broncos don't get to play yet, but
I know that's all right. I like playoffs at Mile High. So
yeah. So no, I'm good. I think this is, hotty toddy. Let's go Ole Miss. But honestly, this is probably the tightest semifinal that we've ever had in the history that we've had the playoffs since 2014. I don't think we've had a closer matchup.
I haven't been this excited for the end of a college football season in quite some time. So
I think regardless of Ole Miss being in the picture, I think that I would be excited.
Yeah.
Because we just got to watch.
It's fantastic football. I think something needs to happen with the bowl system, one way or the other. I think there's a way they can keep it part of college football, because I'd hate to see it go by the wayside. But they've got to find a way to make it meaningful. Otherwise, it turns into what it was this year, and I don't know. So, but that means that the playoffs so far, for all the kinks that they still got to get worked out, pretty damn good semifinal coming up. So, yeah, looking forward to that, and looking forward to talking about it next week. So, thanks everybody for tuning in, and move your ass. We're burning daylight.